Hey, good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Orange Board of Finance. I call the meeting to order at 7:04. I'd like to have everyone introduce themselves, beginning on my right.
Anna Mann.
Kevin McNabola?
John Cifarelli, Finance Director.
Joseph Mezzo.
Chad Lombardi.
Jim Leahy.
Ajit Jain.
Kevin Houlihan, thank you very much. Item number 3, public dialogue. There's no one here from the public, so we'll move on to item 4, Amity update. Mr. Nuzzo.
Good evening, everyone. So as you know, the budget is, or the AFC's meeting was canceled for tonight since we did not have a quorum. 3 of the members were not able to attend, so they canceled the meeting. And we are looking to have a Zoom meeting Friday at noon for a review and possible approval to send it to the Amity Board of Ed for their approval. As a board here, and I'm sure Mr. Leahy will talk about it in a little bit, we have made our recommendation like we normally do on the Amity budget. We have an average spending increase of 2.32%, budget increase 2.32 from last year's budget. And that was a survey taken of all of the Board of Finance members. And the 2.32 is an average of all of the increases that we discussed amongst ourselves here, with Jim taking a poll. So I guess they've heard about that number, according to Chad, that they're aware of that number from us. And I'm looking forward to tonight's meeting, but unfortunately, we'll have to wait until Friday. But per the bylaws, we do have to make a recommendation to the Amity Board of Ed by March 1st. That's why the meeting. AFC, yeah, to the ABOE, yes. So, we'll see how that goes. I don't know if there's any further cuts coming this week. We haven't heard of anything. Chad hasn't heard at this point, so I guess it's gonna stay at the 3.16%, and we'll see how Friday's meeting goes, so.
And then they bring it to the full board.
The full
right?
board.
To the full,
Because I think
full
that
board.
get it done, I think the bylaws by about the 15th is what I remember,
March 15th?
something like that.
Might be.
It's close.
We have some dates. Let me see if
Yeah,
there's
the Amity Board of Ed has to approve the proposed budget to get sent to referendum by March,
Right.
yeah, by
I was
March
just
1st.
By the
wondering if
15th,
the
yeah,
DOE
yeah,
time
15th,
frame,
maybe.
Yeah, I think it is the 15th,
Yeah.
March
But they
15th.
could do it earlier,
Yeah.
but that's typical.
All right,
So see how that meeting goes. I mean, that's really it for the most part. Okay.
very good. Thank you. Item number 5. Jim, anything to report?
No, I thought with you and John's guidance, the only thing I wanted to do with the budget discussion, I
Okay.
assume, John, what you wanted to do was eventually, and I guess, yeah, here, is, I would like to combine my thoughts with this. It's great doing PowerPoint in the middle of the night. I could do it while I sit here with you guys.
All right, item number 6, budget discussion for 25-26.
Is this the one you wanna use, John, or is it really?
No, I just put that on in case you wanted to speak about the budget or go over anything or any questions you have among your
Well, while
yourselves.
everybody's working, I'll just figure out based on this. And,
So you don't, there's,
I will say, I'm hoping to get the grand list this week from Mr. Brancase, and once I get that, I'll do the work on it and send it out to everybody, and we'll see where we stand.
because he has to do the grand list and then adjust it by the 37.5 shift.
I think what we're probably gonna see, because of the new way they have to do the autos, we're probably gonna see a decrease in the taxes for the autos.
Yeah,
That
what,
seems to be
what did they
going-
change? Because I saw the city of New Haven lost a lot of revenue because of all-
Everybody seems to be that's reporting their grand list. You have to take your manufacturer's listed price of the auto, and you're depreciating it by 20 years now, straight line.
Okay,
So
so
that,
that gives a lower value than we were using?
Yes.
Even though it's 20
because
years?
every year it's the same amount going down. Previously, it was the current value, the way I understand it, of the car.
Right.
And I think they use the NADA.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
they used a
and with
certain
COVID,
book.
used cars went
Yeah,
up.
the NADA Blue Book,
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
Right, they use the NAD, now it's some
Yeah.
depreciation model.
Used cars were off the charts.
They were.
They were.
Right, there were years when they went up.
During COVID particularly.
Yeah,
Quite
that was
frankly,
crazy.
the state doesn't know what they're doing, because at one point they talked about eliminating the car tax altogether, and they were talking about saving taxpayers money, and I had a discussion with some of our reps, and I said, you're not saving anybody money, because we collect $6 million or more in car taxes. We're gonna have to make it up in personal property and real estate.
And we've had that discussion
Right.
here, because
Yeah.
I've got car people, guy's got a McLaren. You're paying $25,000 on that. Now he doesn't pay anything?
Right.
Okay, that's not kind of fair.
Right,
you know?
I mean,
He's not in orange, so he can't hear me talking
Good way
about
to
him, you know.
lose
it's-
money.
I mean, the
like-
best thing they could do is make everybody charge the same mill rate on the cars.
Sure.
However they figure it out. So you're not trying to register in Orange, because Orange is so much lower
Right.
than New Haven or East Haven or Hamden, any of those. That would be the best thing, but,
No, and that made sense when it was in the 30s, because, yeah, if you're in Waterbury, you're
Paying
paying 87
$74.
mils on a,
Yeah.
you're paying $1,500 on, on like my Nissan. That's crazy.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the reason for the changes. The reason you just said.
So the implication of those
But
is
there's-
that that'll put more pressure
That's
on the
exactly
property
right.
tax, correct? If you're going to be going down on the taxes on the
Yeah.
car. And so whatever the factors that lead to a person getting a new bill and saying, hey, what's this? Or whatever they say, usually if they're getting a benefit, that's not what comes out of their mouth. Right? That'll be another hidden piece of the puzzle, probably 5-10%, but the.
So, John, is there any other department changes or anything that we should be aware of now, or?
No, the one thing I could say is, when I gave you the capital account and put a couple of items on there that we have to look for down in the future, and I think I had put like 400,000 on for that drainage project in a change order, that's not gonna happen now, so that will drop off.
Oh, good.
We won't have to worry about that.
John, John's on here. Kenny.
We got a fly in
There's
here.
There's a fly.
Oh, the flag, where did it come from?
No respect, Joe. So you'll be voting this coming Friday, the 28th, then, Joe, right? I'm pushing in the dates on this.
Well, unless their increase is 2.32 or less, we won't know.
Yeah. Valid bylaw.
The discussion will definitely be Friday.
No, the AFC has to do their vote. They have to do it by the 28th, because they have to make a recommendation before the end of February to the full board.
So the vote will be Friday.
Yeah, it has to be.
That's like,
Well, it's usually been 5-1, normally,
right.
yeah. And then ABOE does the thing,
Yeah.
for the next couple of weeks.
And again, it's a recommendation. It's
Sure.
not a bylaw that they have to have a,
Right.
but they
But
they
it
do
has
it
to
by.
happen on Friday now.
AFC has to make their recommendation by Friday, by the 28th.
It has
So.
happened in the past. It may be a distant past for many of
Gotta
us.
hope people don't get sick or something crazy happens.
It has happened
No
in the past.
Microsoft updates,
It has happened in the past
I'm sure.
that they didn't hit that date. I think they've tried to be firmer, certainly, and that's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. Yeah, as long as you start on time. But it has happened in the past that they went into early days of March.
Was there any indication as to why there wasn't a quorum, Joe? Was it expected that there wasn't gonna be a quorum, or
No,
just?
someone had the flu.
Okay, so
and
sickness
Yeah,
and,
the chairman was unable to attend, and then Sharon Huxley had a Bethany Finance Committee, a budget workshop meeting.
yeah, which I know that they were worried about you being in conflict too, good.
Well, I
With
would,
this.
I would
Yeah.
doubt they would have gone there, they
Yeah.
came afterwards, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially when I knew you were gonna be here. If he wasn't here, we'd still have a
we'd still have
quorum,
a quorum, yeah, yeah,
and then he'd show up.
yeah. I do just, if we could, while we're finishing this up, we did get that correspondence regarding the Amity, the information, the letter sent to the Amity Board of Ed with regard to federal funding and that kind of thing. So I just wanted for this body to understand a little bit about federal funding and the, you know, the demand that was made of the Amity Board of Ed to cease and desist, you know, the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, specifically the DEI coach and the increasing educator diversity plan. First, Amity, you know, the Department of Education federally manages title grants, essentially, and funding. That's the oversight. It does not manage policy. That's left up to the states. The state is what sets policy and expectations for school districts. So that, and I will tell you, across this whole country, since these executive orders have happened, it has sent states and state departments of education and all their lawyers into, you know, trying to figure out what does that mean. Amity, I don't know how much title grant money they get or IDEA money they get, which is for, you know, special education students. But whatever money they were to, if they were to lose, which again goes from the federal government to the State Department to local districts. It doesn't come directly from the federal government. So, and no one's out of compliance because first of all, the Increasing Educator Diversity Plan is a state requirement. All districts had to, they were required by the State Department of Education to submit that. And actually, they were rejected over the summer and we had to resubmit them because there's very specific criteria. That is not a local decision that Amity made or that Orange has one too. They had to submit it. So I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that. That is not something Amity can choose to give up because they would be out of compliance with the state. And as far as the federal money, if they were to lose grants or any of us were to lose grants, it would either, we'd have to, and again, I assume Amity's is not very high. I mean, I don't know what Meriden's is. Meriden's is probably a lot higher than Amity's.
Oh,
Brookfield's is not very high. So if we were to lose that funding, we would be cutting programs or passing that cost on to the town. So I am sure that's what Amity would do. So I just
They
want
would
to
have
make
no
sure.
choice.
Yeah,
Right,
it's not, and part of that funding is special education, which you are required by law to provide. So it would go from getting supported by the federal government to we would be paying for it. So this 3.16 would be a lot more. So just so we're all clear on that, like it's not quite apples to apples, like do this or else, because as a public school district in the state of Connecticut,
Anna, what are you
you're
hearing
beholding.
about it? I appreciate the update on the process.
Mhm.
What are you hearing, what kind of, I mean, there's a lot of churn out there, right? Not just in the education side.
Yeah, well, that's my area of business. So as far as the education side, we are beholden to state law. So
No,
we will continue with
Right,
state law.
That's a key thing to say, and then the money comes from federal to the state.
And actually, the state of Connecticut has said that I don't know how this would happen, but that they would supplement loss of funds from federal dollars if for instance, the Federal Department of Education were to fold. That's what our governor has said.
Well, their recent support of education, given that the reimbursement rate went down to 60.
Well, that's what
Agreed.
I was gonna
I don't
say,
know how
59.
As I
recent
said,
convert.
I don't know how they would do it, especially if they're gonna change car taxes. But right now, the advice from all the lawyers is continue as you would.
Okay,
There is no indication that we should change anything.
that's a good suggestion.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a meeting today at the state that
Yes.
they met on the excess cost, the
Yeah.
calculation, the percentage. And as Jim said, 64%, but they were proposing, the legislature was proposing bumping that up to 78%.
Yep.
That's where it was.
For the-
in some
for the
discussions
current year,
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going down steadily.
Well, they need to get back to that. We have no say in Hartford, but
Right.
when I'm reading emails from reps that say, oh, we're working on a child tax credit for Connecticut residents and all, that, it's like, stop spending money we don't have and fund this.
Right.
This at 59% hurts
Right.
all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
Like, we just, the stuff that drives me crazy. Because the
Yeah.
last time we had a deficit, years ago, when he had a big deficit.
We had a big deficit.
We did the state earned income credit. I mean, it
Right.
was like, what don't we get when we don't have money?
Right.
Yeah.
But, peace.
So the last thing I just want to say is that, again, if there were, a deficit of funds or whatever the case may be, We don't get to decide as a Board of Finance or a town Board of Select or whomever, or even a orange body, what Amity cuts. Amity gets to cut whatever Amity wants to cut.
It's their
So
it's their choice.
we, yeah, they're,
Yeah, we're
So we would end
What's
up
the
with
amount of
another
money?
unfunded mandate.
correct,
So we'd have to pay it.
Right.
And move on and.
right. So if the federal, government says, we're not gonna give you money if you have DEI initiatives, and the state of Connecticut continues to say, you will have DEI initiatives,
The
we will be
conversation,
paying-
Something has to happen.
no, the conversation will be, we will pay for it as a town.
Well, we've had that discussion here in the past where, there were certain things with the Orange Board of Ed or, because our ECS in the grand scheme of things is nothing. It was like, is it almost worth it to say, we're not gonna do this?
Yeah.
It'll
for
be,
all the
in the
mandates,
past
yeah.
20 years, I know that's come up a couple times and, it's never come to that. But, that, it is there, so.
So it was just for your edification, that when I saw that and I read through that letter, that it's not, it's a
So
little
Ju-
bit misplaced.
So John, you're telling me we're not gonna be here all night with a budget discussion because we don't have anything new since our all-day meeting?
If you guys don't have any questions coming out of the all-day meeting or anything, we go on to the next item.
All right.
Always finds this line item.
Everyone okay for now?
Do we have any indication at all, since I'm not gonna be here next Monday, like where the Orange Board of Ed is coming in?
He's just slightly less than 4%, I believe. the last
I had
time
heard
talked to him.
3.9,
Yeah,
I thought Jeff said to me, but if that's changed, I'll let you know.
Okay. Which I totally support. Just wanna put forward that we're only saying Amity in the mid 2%, so.
they were still reviewing it and working on it the last time I talked to Dr. Scarpetti, and that was probably a little over a week ago.
I totally support 3.9, whatever.
Yeah, the last couple of years, what their budget was, that's what it was.
Right, we don't question our line item.
Last year was like
ask
3.5
or-
or 3. I think
Was
it
it
was
that
3.
high?
I think it was 3. Was it 3?
A lot of it, again, is benefits, increase in benefits, I tell you that right now.
Yep. Like,
That I know.
like
Like
everybody.
Amity, yeah,
Yeah,
Like
right.
Amity and
Yeah.
like everybody
Right.
else. So,
it's the biggest piece.
yep.
Okay, so I can go here.
All right, so then, John, our funding request. Item number 7, allocate up to $10,000 from the cannabis fund to pay for a piece of playground equipment for the Orange Community Nursery School at High Plains Community Center.
Okay, if,
Is
make
that
a
in the
little,
document you sent us, John?
yes, it was.
Yes,
Uh,
because the Board
There
of
was
Selectmen
both a
approved it.
memo and a
Oh,
photo
picture.
of the equipment.
Which one, Joe?
Playground memo, the OCNS
Yeah.
playground?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, there's two.
yeah,
two of them right there.
Saw that. yeah.
What happened last summer, one of the pieces of equipment, we had to rip out. It was dangerous. And the town replaced it with another piece of equipment through one of our LoCIP grants or one of those grants. I forget exactly which one. But it wasn't for some of the younger kids. So some of the parents over there, led by Mike Grandy's wife, decided they were gonna do a fundraiser to try and raise the money for another piece of equipment to fit over there.
Oh, yeah, they did
And
a
they,
hell of a job.
and they raised in excess of $30,000. Piece of equipment costs, what you're looking at up there is $40,000. And they went to the Board of Selectmen and asked for a little help on it. Board of Selectmen thought it was a good idea and thought, we have this cannabis money that is sitting in an account right now, and thought up to $10,000 from it would be a good idea for our portion to fund this playground piece of equipment. We have about, we should receive about through December, I think it is, we have about 245,000 in that account. So it's been building up. We haven't used it for anything yet.
John, I don't, oh, playground memo.
So
Makes sense.
we control that cannabis money.
We, the first selectman, in this instance, he wanted to do it with a vote from you guys, though, but it's like some of the other low SIP funds and stuff, really the Board of Selectmen kind of control it.
Yeah.
John, my thoughts on reading this memo, first of all, I was just tickled to see people be doing something, taking initiative, and starting a GoFundMe that got almost 25. That's just exceptional initiative, community, just what this town's all about. My question is, the structure that was picked out, did that go out to bid?
No, it's kind of like a professional service. And there aren't that many places that do that kind of equipment, and they had to work with them to fit it into
It
the
looks similar to the
small
one that's right out
place.
here.
That I can't tell you. The equipment out here is probably in excess of 15 years old.
Oh,
Because it was all volunteers, because I remember,
No.
when that was
That
built,
was faint
This
praise.
one out here was done with a state grant. The previous one that was all wood, that had to be ripped down,
Yeah.
was done with all
okay,
volunteers.
'cause I think I did work on that with Sandy Simone, so it was
A
probably
lot of
25
people
years
worked
ago
on
then.
that. Unfortunately, those were all wood, and over the years, they became very dangerous with
Yeah.
slivers
They were
and
cracked
things
up.
like that, and they had to be
My kids were
taken
very
out.
young. Can I tell a quick story? So my kids were very young, it was in the springtime and it was nighttime already. But we were going, you know, that being, you only had the kids so much time when they lived in Louisville, right? And they were here. So we were going through that thing and I was racing through it and I took a turn and I hit my head right there. You okay, Dad? Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'm great.
You know,
Yeah.
Of course, but I think we'd better go.
Yeah.
Very nice, my neighbors. I had a black eye.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, it just doesn't look like a $40,000 gig, but God bless America. These people are doing this much initiative, they know what they're buying.
Well, remember what it costs for the playground at Fred Wolf
Fred
Park.
Wolf, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was in excess of $500,000.
Yeah,
so-
playground,
I'm seeing pieces of them.
yeah, playground equipment. I had the same thought, Jim, I didn't know.
Rubber, astroturf underneath and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what that is,
But I don't think
Are
that's
we, I was
part
gonna
of
say,
it,
are we
though.
installing
that
that?
stuff's expensive.
That's not part of it, though.
Yeah.
It's just
Real-
actually
Oh, it's
play
just
it.
Just the
Yeah.
actual equipment piece?
apparatus.
Wow.
Right. Underneath over there is pine bark or mulch or something like that.
It
So they're-
does seem expensive.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah, they're
It's-
making the donation on their own behalf too,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
it is expensive to have, because it has to
Yeah,
be,
I'll make a motion.
you know,
Yeah.
Motion by
all the
Kevin?
standards and everything, so.
From the
Second by Jim.
from the cannabis.
Any
one.
further discussion?
Yeah, from the cannabis stuff, yeah.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, unanimous. Okay, 7B, allocate funds from capital account up to $230,000 to purchase two new Mason dump trucks. That did come up at our all-day meeting.
Yeah, if you remember, I said
That was in the capital one, Jim?
that was in the capital one. The first selectman asked me to put this on. We desperately need it, and there's a long lead time to get it. To do it now, hopefully we'll have it by the next winter to be able to use.
Wow.
Is this it, Johnny? The 135?
No.
Bucket truck.
That's the truck we ordered last year at this time that we haven't gotten in yet. That's got a long
Was it
lead
on
time.
this list? of
Yeah, go down, I can't,
Two 115s? No,
11 and 12.
11 and 12 by the A column.
Right.
The two
Right.
replaces, 115, probably some buffer, 230 plus 10. That's probably what we're doing here.
No, just 230, up to
230, okay.
230.
All
From capital account, please.
Alrighty.
Need a motion? Make a motion for that as well?
Motion by Kevin,
Yeah, I'll second it, sure.
second by Jim. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained,
And that comes
unanimous.
out of the capital account, right? Jim?
Yes,
So next time we get that, it'll be in there officially, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
at some point in time, probably next month, we'll move money from
Yeah.
general fund to capital.
So we don't have to do that right now?
Now,
So-
even if we run that account over, we're okay at the moment.
Because I'd like to maybe, well, we'd have to talk to the Board of Selectmen, I guess, if they're in charge of the cannabis account, because that seems like a place we could use some of the funding to fix the Racebrook track.
I know there's guardrails on that, but I don't know exactly what they are.
Because I really,
Yeah,
I'd like
there
to
are,
fix that if
but
possible.
Yeah.
We're reading that, some of the wording is public benefit and community benefit, so,
Yeah.
actually,
And
the
that's
first
both, plus
selectman
you
and
have the
I,
Right.
things up for learning for the
Right.
people can
Yeah.
learn about
Right,
things.
right,
and
right.
it's-
the
it's
first
educational.
selectman and I actually called OPM on it to ask him what you could use it for, and
A very thin definition.
it
Yes,
wasn't, I wouldn't
yes.
even call it that, so.
Okay. An attempt at a third definition.
We're going a lot faster than I thought. I should have scheduled more work. Item 8, discussion and approval of minutes from February 7th, 2025.
We're going back here. Agenda.
Down at the top.
Okay, you want me to start?
Yeah, let me see if I can get it open for the audience, Johnny, before we're all done. Minutes, thanks, Deb.
Page 2.
All right.
So on the second bullet under Public Works, the very last sentence, there is no water or oil to the property, and gas heat is set at 62. Let's cross that out, because there is water on the there is water going into the house.
Yeah, it's in the expenses.
Yeah,
I was beginning to wonder how much if actually people lived in a house, how much the,
cross out the whole sentence, we don't really need that. Okay, and then on page 3,
all right, go ahead, John.
we need to change that bullet that starts with currently, Miss
Which section, Johnny?
Johnson,
Top of
page
the
3 up the
At
top.
the top there, Miss Johnson. yeah.
Miss Johnson. We should change that, because Miss Johnson isn't right. We should change it. Currently, the youth service administrator works 30 hours per week as a part-time position. Got that, then?
Yeah.
And then at the end where it says, Mr. Sifrelli has added 2.2 increase to the salary line item, that's not true, so let's take that out. Actually, I don't know where that came from. Page 4, item 10,
Okay, bottom of the
at the
page.
very bottom, instead of Mr. Sifrelli advised, it should be Mr. Sifrelli asked. Because I did ask you because of
Right, we had to
Dr.
change that.
Scarpetti's
Yeah.
conflict that night.
So do we have to say that we agreed to, oh, yeah, we did.
No, we had to vote on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, and then on the last page, number 12, where it says me again, that's coming in after we adjourned. So I recommend that we put that up under 11,
Yeah.
after the board members reviewed and before the vote. If that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, it did seem a little odd when we adjourned and we had more notes.
Then John was still talking.
The TV was
It's
turned off.
you, you're still talking.
You want to send me to Hartford on that? That's all I had.
I got a couple for the team to consider on page 1. Bullet 1 under the Orange Police Services. I think he said that he included those increased staff levels in the budget we were looking at, did we not, Kevin? Do you remember
Yes.
that? Okay. So in light of that, I would say it should read this way. Chief Kevin explained some of the drivers for the increase in the police department budget, which include inflation, comma, and then include increased staff levels, comma, and the rest of the stuff that you see there.
Take out,
Like that.
yeah, and take out that extra and, inflation, comma, travel,
Okay.
comma, and training, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just a formatting thing, we should probably do this. I mean, I'm more used to writing when we have something thousands to be capital K, but regardless, we can't have 45K, no comma, no numbers, no decimal point, then see something that says 52,209.50 with the O repeating, I guess, and then 37K. If we're gonna use one, just use 37,000, comma, And I don't know what to do about the 52, you can call it 52-210, 51-210 if you wish, but that just sticks out as like two different people wrote it. On the bottom of the first page, leading into the second, he noted, however, that due to tariffs between the US and China, I had lost, my brain for some reason had lost, so I recommend, this police car price might be higher, I'd use it, put in the words, this car price or police car price might be higher, that's all. Okay, seems like everybody's considering a bond in 2027, I noticed that both for us on the bottom of page 2 and also for Amity later on, I don't know whether, I saw something about bond later on. Anyway, page 3, top of the page. Looks like it's the last sentence. Didn't feel right with me. They operate Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And here's where it got mushy in my brain. And run solely on suggested donations. I get the feeling we're putting suggested donations in the gas tank, and I don't want the gas tank to receive them. I would like it to say, and charge fees solely on suggested donations which are voluntary.
Excuse me,
Well, they can't charge,
mic number 4 is muted.
That's 3.
that's 3.
4 is right there.
Oh, I thought they were both on before. So, as we said just a second ago, they operate Monday through Friday, I'll just give you what I have for it, what it should say. And run and charge fees solely on suggested donations which are
But they don't
voluntary.
charge fees because they can't. They can't charge a fee.
Well, then change the word charge, but they're accepting fees. Only
They
if they're
accept
voluntary.
donations.
Donation, oh, okay,
How about are
Go ahead, Ann.
supported solely on suggested donations?
I like that. Thank you. All right, but you could see the run solely just felt like an awkward thing.
Yep.
Well, especially because it's vehicles and transportation, it gets a little confusing.
Okay, so we already talked about the top of page 4, John, this is just getting me, we're gonna be talking about that in the capital discussion when we get into further in the budget regarding the conservation, the 166,000,
The Racebrook track.
or how much, yeah, thank you, Racebrook Track. The Howard Brook Walkway at Racebrook Track, I guess.
Yes, specific.
I got a little lost on section
Actually,
8.
is it the Racebrook Track, the Howard Brook Walkway, or is that down at Whipple-Log?
No, it was named
It's-
after the superintendent of Amity,
Yeah.
right?
It's over,
That
it's
piece
at
of the
Race.
Racebrook track
It is at the Racebrook Track?
is his walkway
Okay.
that goes down.
Yeah,
and
what
the-
she
the-
presented last year and this year was the one at the Racebrook track.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it's called the Howard Brook Walkway.
Yeah, that's what they had it as.
Okay, I'm in the
You
Amity.
can still
but-
walk it, it's just getting a little.
Yeah, I thought,
There's
for
a-
some
It's more
reason,
like
I thought it was
Howard
on the
Brook Broken Way.
Mapledale Road
Yeah.
area instead of Racebrook Road area.
Yeah.
Okay, and item 8, on the second bullet there, that's where I again saw that 2027 bond, so I don't know if interest rates are gonna be lower then, but anyway.
Dr. Byers' name is with an A. B-Y-A-R-S.
Oh, yeah, there's a global edit on that.
Thank you.
There's more than one.
Oh, yeah.
I'll fix it.
Okay, thank you. The third bullet, the funding continue, et cetera. I don't know where this sentence came from. It was noted that the Town of Orange membership for next year is decreasing by 1.27%. Maybe, I know it's going down, but I don't
Anticipated-
remember.
And we should say anticipated enrollment. Right?
Or I think we
No,
should
no,
say,
the.
That's right here.
Yeah, that, was it
1.27.
1.27?
For the, right, for the proposed
For the
budget. Yes,
proposed
yeah,
budget,
part of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
the
remember
ADM
putting,
went
I
down,
was
but-
thinking the 49 and the 48, I didn't, if that's
No,
the
yeah, you're right.
exact number, then we can leave it and,
so Jim, I suggest replacing membership with contribution.
Yeah, or required,
well, it is. Okay,
Or-
wait a
Or the
minute.
Town
It
of
was
Orange
noted-
average daily membership, because
That-
that's what it is.
So it says that, okay.
The Orange Day Remember,
yeah, you
but
could
it's,
say average daily membership. That sounds more.
For
Yeah,
next
but
year's
you're-
decreasing by 1.27, because that's exactly what it is.
true, but it's not next year. It's actually happened this October is when we found out it went and its implication is for the
Yeah.
following year's budget.
You use the
right?
Okay.
October one of the
So
year
in a certain
before.
way, where you're going, where your brain is going is exactly right. It's the members, it's the Town of Orange
Current,
current percentage of next year's budget, but it gets complex. But you're thinking right in terms of what it's gonna impact, okay? So it was noted, let's see,
You could say the town of Orange contribution
for next
based
year,
on average daily membership.
that would work.
Or the
Will
current, the town of
decrease-
Orange contribution for next year based on average daily membership, if you want to be
Is-
really specific, October 2024,
Right,
is decreasing by 1.27.
there you go. That would be it. And that's the only thing that made my brain go bump in the night, Kev.
I have one suggestion on page number 2,
Page 2,
under Public Works, fourth bullet.
Public Works, fourth bullet, 1, 2,
Not
3,
fourth, the
4.
fifth one, the
Fifth
last
one,
one.
capital projects?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
capital projects were discussed, some of which include a new bucket truck.
Oh,
Yeah, truck, no trunk. That's a really
Good,
expensive
Ajit.
trunk.
You read it and you don't even notice it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that thing I just said I downloaded, I'm typing, right, tonight, and I'm not a good typer, I'm a hunting pet guy. It's starting to complete words for me while I'm in the
Yeah.
middle of the word.
AI.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it saying, my God, I'm gonna try to trick you. No, I didn't. Maybe someday.
Okay, anything else?
Last call?
Okay, is there a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Ooh,
Motion by Anna, is there a second?
Yep, all
Second by
good.
Jim. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Whoops.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, unanimous.
Okay, we gotta get that agenda up.
John,
again.
before we get to, because I wanted to bring this up earlier, the expense reports. The memo from Martin Heft that says the 2.5% budget increase.
Oh, this thing?
No, that's Tom Hurley.
Oh,
This is just from the municipal spending cap that we're not supposed to go above 2.5% of our budget.
From our
Or it
previous.
says the rate of inflation, which had to be more than 2.5% last year.
And I think that's
3.31.
what he said, yeah.
Was
But
that
he didn't
3.31?
give the number.
You did?
No, he didn't, in that memo.
So if our overall budget
Did he?
goes up,
Yeah.
if our overall budget goes up over 3.31%, we lose state funding.
Right,
Well,
and we've lost it in the past. But we
But-
gained it back because if you remember, a couple of years ago, you get to exclude special education.
right.
And we were only excluding special education for Orange. And I had a discussion with Tony Genovese
Oh, so
in
even if,
Woodbridge.
so even if Amity's at 3.11, Orange is at 4 hypothetically, and then the town side, because of all that's going on there with the,
It's-
is up, say, another 4.5. When we take out special ed
We
from
now-
Amity and Orange, we're gonna be,
We've been under since
We'll
we've
be
been
under it
doing
again.
that, but we weren't none of the three towns were doing that. And after I had my discussion with Tony said, let me call and find out, and he called somebody at OPM that he talks to regularly, and they said, no, you should be taking out Amity. So for the last 2 years, we've been taking out
all right,
Amity.
so then
and
this, we don't
been
have
under
anything
it.
to worry about here.
I don't think so.
And I think you
Okay, I just
factor in
wanted to-
debt service too, don't you? Don't you?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
you also
think you do.
factor in debt service, that comes out.
Yeah.
So if your debt service is going up,
Okay,
yeah, that comes out, which is a good thing.
but ours is only, we're within 60,000
Oh,
on
yeah,
our debt
yeah,
service
yeah,
this year,
yeah.
so.
Yep.
But special ed on both schools will bring it, okay. And it's probably, like we talked about earlier with ECI, it's probably even if we got penalized, how much money is it that they're gonna hold back on us?
250,000, I think it's been.
So it is significant, but it's not,
It's there.
okay.
You could buy a lunch or two. Is this something we're, just for our information? It's not on the agenda.
No, that was given to me after I sent out the
Packet.
materials to you. That's just him telling you his $5 under and over collection that he doesn't do anymore. He netted, I think, $7 to the
10
good.
cents.
Yeah,
So,
so we were right about staying at under $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That Kevin and I both spoke on.
yes, okay, so item number 9, review revenue expense reports for February 2025. Any concerns?
Yeah, I'd like to, first of all, in general, John, I looked at both Artie's thing, which was nice. It was at the end of January 31st. And it shows, of course, where we were last year at that very same time. And then this thing here is like 3 weeks later, the revenue one.
Right.
And you can see the changes if you do
What I give you for revenue expense is usually run on the Thursday before
Yeah.
our meeting, so that includes any expenses that I've approved
Yeah.
up to that date.
John? Permits and buildings, right? And the electricity one that you can see right up here. We're already at 232, 170, and we're estimating 232, 170. And last year, it seemed like we went up from 134,000, as you can see, carrying over to almost double that at 256. Is there any reason we're seem to be at, I guess you could say, conservative? Permits electrical, or could you check on that?
It depends on what kind of permits are being taken out along town. If you remember, during COVID, a lot of people did repairs at their houses and stuff, and we had a lot of building permits. Right now, we don't have a lot going on in town along the Post Road especially. I just heard today.
And that's the one that drives
I
this?
just heard today, we lost another business on the Post Road, not on Post Road, on Indian River Road, on the border closed today.
Really?
Oh, really?
It was dark when I came down Marsh Hill Road. I thought maybe they were just closed because it's a Monday.
And no, apparently they closed. There was rumors to the effect that they were closing over a month ago, but,
Yep, that's a shame.
yeah.
But
That's,
That
that's
whole
a,
plaza.
that's a dying shopping
It
center,
is.
other than the swimming
Yeah, that
place
swimming
that moved
concept.
in, and First Selectman has had meetings with the owners, and they don't wanna,
They have a
pull-
particularity of who they want, or
Right.
think they can get in there.
They think
Well,
they're in
there's
Man- they
willing
think they're
candidates
Manhattan.
who want to go in there.
That's what they think. They think
Yeah.
they're gonna get, a super high-end.
And
it's-
he tried to convince them to bring
Yeah.
in a certain business there that would
Correct.
fill up the shopping center, and went nowhere. So that's all I'll say on that.
Okay. On our bottom of that page, where our real money comes in, right, in the real property or the tax collector section, we seem to be still dribs and drabs coming in as I compared it to the one that was 3 weeks later. But what is your gut telling you as far as this whole, that category, which really drives the whole revenue category?
We'll meet our budget number and exceed it by year end.
Okay,
I don't really see a problem with that
Okay.
there. He's still got a lot more to collect on supplemental motor vehicles. If you look there, on that sheet, he's collected 629, it looks like. But bills worth 840,000 went out, so he's still got a pretty good spread there. He won't collect 100% of it, but
Yeah.
he'll get closer to that 800. He'll probably be in the 700 range by time June 30th.
yeah, but the ones
comes.
we don't collect, they
They go
continue
into
to,
the-
they
they'll be
go
a
into the
prior year.
delinquent and all
Right,
that stuff.
right.
You get 18% interest.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a bad gig.
Though the state's talking about lowering that interest rate too.
They should. We've talked about that forever.
Yeah.
What, 18%?
You know,
Yeah.
rates were down to like 1/10%, and they're still charging 18.
John, if I could direct you to page 2 on Artie's thing there, the use of fund balance. We have invested $1.2 million for the creation of this budget there for
Right.
the year we're
He'll
in.
move that money in on the regular report at the end of the year. It's
Right,
part of
there's no
his
sense
audit
putting it in now.
entries, right.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at what we have for a budget there of 3.861, and then we have for his estimate, 3.992. So it seems like on the aggregate in that category, I'm thinking of it, how not to spend any of our piggy bank, which is the use of fund balance. So what I'm seeing there, and just correct my brain if I'm thinking right or wrong, it seems like we're 131,000 to the good So we would be not using 1.2, were that to stay the same, we'd just be using 1,069,000, or whatever the subtraction of what,
Well,
131.
it will all flow through fund balance, but yes, you're
Yeah,
kind of
it's
correct.
essentially what
Either
it
we
is.
won't use it or we'll add it back.
You're right.
Okay.
Actually, it's gonna be higher too, because we haven't filled in that Amity number on the surplus yet. That'll be I think it's $500,000.
And that's from the last year that's already done, now you have
Right.
to go through
And
that.
that's supposed to happen in March. Our March payment is supposed to be lower by
Okay.
that amount.
Okay. It seemed like the pool numbers are increasing, guys, and I've been going over the pool because I'm supposed to kind of tread water in the deep end for my back, but,
Woodbridge's pool is closed, so I think we're
Oh, we're
getting some
benefiting from that?
membership from Woodbridge.
Okay.
I think they,
The parking lot's full all the time now.
yeah,
At High Plains?
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's busy, it's hard to get in the
I
lane.
think they've actually closed Woodbridge's pool up for good, and they're making
Really?
classrooms out of the area.
Oh, at the Beecher School? They had talked about having to do that a
They've had
couple of years ago.
nothing but problems with that pool for the last 5 years, 6 years.
Oh, that's right, your daughter was a swimmer, right? Yeah. Expenses, Kev? Or are
Sure.
you still good on?
No, if we're good on revenues,
Okay,
switch over.
let's take a peek on expenses. How you feeling in the overall, Johnny, on this expense stuff now?
No, there's a couple of spots where we're gonna go over the budget, but.
Yeah. Yeah, probably in the legal would be one area, right?
Legal's one.
Snow now, too.
Legal's one, the problem with legal, we got.
Page 14.
We got a heck of a lot of, reevaluation in the.
Yeah, check out that tax appeals
legal-
line.
Legal
Yeah.
stuff on their,
521%.
thing on their properties and on, you're gonna see an increase, big increase in that line item on, the new budget also. I sat down with Vin on that, and it's just,
I remember when we had the people in, all right, there was a line, and you had to make an appointment for your residential to come in here, and they had to, discuss it out.
Most-
But then I heard a lot of it was commercial.
most of it's commercial.
Okay.
Like, probably 99% of it is commercial.
Okay, so now, it's not our residents coming in and say, hey, okay.
No. It's a lot more harder for a resident to appeal their taxes than it is a commercial business.
Oh, I believe you. Yeah, when I went through this, I just, we're 8 2/3 of the way through the year, so that's about 73% for a flat running organization.
We'll probably also go over in our legal labor line item there also. We
Oh, in
still
the
have-
same category there?
Yeah, we still have 4 union contracts to negotiate. And,
Oh, we're down to only 6,000
yeah,
left.
And a lot of that money is going to the police department right now for the hearings they're having on that officer.
Well, you got a big boost in the zoning wetlands. You only used 2,200.
Right, and that'll be used to cover.
Both of the ones
Right,
that are either over or
right.
gonna be
But
over.
it's probably not gonna be enough.
Okay, okay. All righty.
Have they completed any of the, any negotiations for any CBAs yet?
No.
All right, so we
We
have
haven't even,
all-
to tell you the truth, we haven't even started.
Yeah.
When they expire, June 30th?
June 30th.
Wow.
Are any of those, like, I'm not sure how it works on the town side, but do you have to get them done before the expiration? Okay.
No, we've gone with the
gone a
police.
couple of years with the
I've-
police in the
I had a
past.
couple of years where we had to do retros with
Yeah,
the police.
yeah,
and
okay.
That's the hardest one, and I have to send that out to the auditing firm to do. We just
Right.
can't handle it
No,
in
yeah,
here.
that makes sense.
John, on page 16, nope, 17. So I'll get it up on the screen. Oh, wait a minute. Andrew taught me this. Remember? You guys were here.
Yep.
Check it out. Okay,
Right there.
down at the bottom, we have 116. I know we've talked about it. It feels like I should be remembering it. Maybe I'm just getting younger. The
That's-
field improvement, what's going, remind me of
That's-
that, John.
That's the engineering firm that's doing the study at Fred Wolf Park.
It's encumbrance.
And that's
right.
why it's encumbered.
There's a purchase order for that, and the bill
Okay.
comes in, First Selectman signs off on it, and I code it and pay it.
Okay. No, it seems like each of the departments either at or under all the under the run rate of 72%, not that they're all linear, but a lot of them are, so. I would think, and when you look at the schools, that's on page 22, and I'm getting hot on this as you check it out, Joe. I'm keeping it more than fair, Joe, come on. You could see that Orange is only 14 out of 24, so that's only 7/12 of their budget for the year, that's 58%. And it's about 24 million, would be about 12 million a month if it was a run rate or even. Amity is 21 out of 27, so that's 7/9, so they're at 78%, so they're probably a payment ahead.
We're, with Orange, we're able to keep a closer tab on them.
Yep,
And if we give them less money at certain times, it stays over here and we get the interest on it. And when they need it, they'll call Art and we'll send it over.
Seems like the opposite
As long
happens
as-
with Amity.
Well, Amity's a whole different
Yep.
boat, you know.
anyway, when you put the two together, one ahead, one behind,
They probably have their own
Right,
interests.
that
But
means
it's an
you
approved
probably-
line, that
yeah.
line's gonna be spent.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
for
we're
sure.
able to keep it over here and get the interest on it for longer.
So the overall 68.8, you know, you look at those things, the debt services, you know. One thing I did want to ask you, John, in the social security, which I think is the next page of one coming up, so let me find it.
Benefits.
Or maybe it's on the same page. It is. It's at the top. John, you see, let me just do one more bounce so we can see it. Okay, so we had to pay the two pensions, that's obvious, so that's why we have 100% for almost 2.6, 2.7 million, something like that. Any opportunities you see here, you know, or, you know, negotiations, reserve, what, that's, you know, you can't estimate that. But do you see any opportunity that might come in under budget that might be a meaningful number?
For next year now.
Yeah.
When you look at Social Security and Medicare, that's based on my total labor dollar.
So
in
your
the
labor
budget.
dollar's gonna be spent, so this is gonna be spent.
Right, but
Okay.
then you have, during the year, you have open positions, and you save that money there, and you save the money. on this,
here, yeah.
right.
Okay.
Same thing with the 401 part of the pension. You plan for X number of people
Mm-hmm.
who have their 401, they leave, so you don't spend it, and it just sits there, but you need to budget for it.
Okay. So do you think you're gonna be on or close to schedule, as they say on the railroad?
Yeah, I don't see any problems up there.
Is there any impact to benefits with regard to the required Connecticut sick law,
I'm not- what's
The
that
sick
law?
the
days?
sick days that are required now?
There's an interesting discussion on that, whether it holds for cities and towns or not. We've had.
For the
two-
part-timers now, is that what?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
anybody can accrue sick leave, and it's family sick, so you can't question it. For every 30 hours worked, they accrue 1 hour, up to 40 hours a year,
For the year.
a fiscal year, and it can be carried over, but it cannot exceed 40 hours.
Yeah,
So
we-
if you carry over 10, you would only earn 30 hours that next year. So it's kind of a nightmare, though.
If they're sick, it comes out of their regular line item anyways. This sick
Right.
item here is for people that retire,
To
that get
pay
paid,
I
right,
see, okay.
right.
Yeah. So not the same thing there. I was just wondering, I was curious as,
But we do have
Looking-
two different attorney opinions and a state opinion that gives it both ways right now on whether it's for a town or not. So we're waiting for clarification on that.
I mean, I think you can, like for a CBA, if, you know, a union has sick time, you can take some of that sick time and put it into a, you know, you can qualify it, so you wouldn't have to pay more. But it's basically which bucket you're putting it in, and then taking it out of. And then there's some constraints on, you know, you can't question it, you can't ask for a doctor's
Right.
notes, all that jazz. It's an employee-friendly state.
Certainly is.
How's your budgeting going in Meriden, Ken?
Painful.
Come on, you went down to South Carolina over the weekend, I can't be
That's why I had to
that
get out of Dodge. I had to get out of Dodge for a day. Yeah.
Anything else, Scott?
Anybody else have any other questions on the expenditures?
Before we
John?
adjourn, I'd like to go over the calendar.
Yes, yes, because
I'm a little confused on what-
I goofed up because I thought we had a meeting on March 10th, and I had emailed Chad. So, Jim, you have your,
I have it all set up while you guys were working. I think it's that.
There
I
you go.
think we have something on the 3rd, John?
Yes,
yes,
Okay.
Monday.
Board of Ed is the 3rd.
Board of Ed.
And that'll be
That's over.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
Then we
Where's
have
Here,
DVD
right.
locations, I think. Okay, so a little pink one, that's, Joe, that's Amity Finance. If it's the second Monday, I don't know if you'll have a meeting, if you're already done, but, and I didn't put anything on the 28th, that's a remiss on me on February 28th. But what I think we had was budget sessions to finalize, and we had the 12th and the there was another one. 12th and the 24th, and I think we said 26 or 27, so that's an edit by me, but I'll just visually put it in
So the
there.
10th is out. That's the one I goofed up on. I
Right.
thought we had a
Okay.
meeting on the 10th.
So it's March 12th?
It's Wednesday, the
3,
12th.
3/12/24, and probably a
And then-
26, 27. And off to the right, you can see on this piece of the screen, John wants to get the cuts done by the 7th.
I think by
Are
the
they
12th,
coming in
the
on the
12th.
5th, John, or the 3rd?
No, they're
Third.
coming in the 3rd.
3rd, okay. So this is an error, I'll take that.
So if we have any grand list data that night, we can talk about it. If not, the 12th will be,
11 by 30.
12th will be
Grand list?
a good
I'm
night.
supposed to have it by the end of February.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
but
we
why?
also have the
Yeah.
4th, if we need it.
24th.
Yep.
All right, complete by March 26, 27, so it sounds like we have something over here,
And we're,
March
and we're
24.
canceling the 17th,
Yeah, you're out of
which
town,
was our,
right?
right, which is, well, we don't want to say that on camera, but yes,
Well, you have a doctor's appointment, as I understand it.
yeah.
I think they're getting my money,
clear
their
now?
money's worth from us.
We good?
I'm good now. Thank you.
3/12/24.
No,
Yep.
that,
3/12.
I goofed it up.
March,
3/12/24 are the next
March
three.
20, 12 and 24, yeah.
Good numbers.
Dominic,
the 12th is at
Dominic
6
will
p.m.?
get the numbers there and.
Oh, do we change the time on the 12th?
Is the 12th at regular time or at 6 PM?
I would say so, unless you want to
Okay.
go
No,
earlier.
no, it's fine.
Oh, it's on the 12th, okay, yeah. 3 and 12, whoa.
I have to see.
Oh, okay, so I must have gone off.
We're all at 7.
I think so, unless we, whoops,
All right,
there we go, this is the one.
Thank you.
Next week's Orange Board of Ed.
correct.
Right.
The 3rd.
That's here.
Yeah.
Yes. The
I
room is
expect it
clear.
to be here.
It's gonna be here,
More
was
budget
it?
stuff.
Yes,
Do we have this room, Johnny?
yes.
Yes.
Change that.
Okay.
Excellent. You know, I'll work with the OBOE people, there's certain files that they get us the budget thing that we always run through. He gives a presentation, we always run through the numbers. We look at the class sizes and stuff like that, and wherever they have their people, but we have a good structure. So there's no reason not to follow that structure. It's a good structure.
Item number
Yeah,
10.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a second.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, meeting adjourned at 8:01. Thank you very
Good one.
much.